Hello all and welcome to a new show, The Big Story, where we discuss the hottest topics of the day right in the heart of the newsroom. I'm Harianto, coming to you live from the Straits Times. Now, we are streaming to you on Facebook as well as on YouTube, so make sure to like, comment and share. Now, while you're at it, make sure that you hit the bell as well to be alerted of our videos. I'll have my newsroom colleagues joining me in this show to talk about the stories that got you talking today. Now, it has been a year since the watershed 2018 Malaysia election. The Pakatan Harapan coalition introduced its election manifesto prior to last year's historic polls with 60 promises to fulfill. But after gaining power, the alliance has been criticized for not keeping its word. How well has PH performed in keeping its election promises? To tell us more, I have with me Assistant Foreign Editor Lim Ai-Lin. Welcome, Ai-Lin.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here as well. So, Ai-Lin, the question is, how has PH fared so far?
The resounding verdict is must try harder.
Okay.
So voters across the spectrum are disappointed and impatient for the Pakatan Harapan government to fulfill its election promises. For the so-called liberal elite, who are the base supporters for Pakatan Harapan, they are complaining that the pace of reforms is not quick enough. So things like the abolishment of the death penalty, the removal of the Sedition Act, institutional reform, setting up royal committees of inquiry into scandals at state-owned organizations. All these have not been done. Meanwhile, for voters from the lower income background, of which the Malay community form the majority, they are finding that they don't have more money in their pockets as promised. So during in the run-up to the elections, Pakatan Harapan had said, "Oh, we will scrap the goods and services tax, GST, and prices will be lowered. You will have more money to spend," and this has not happened. They have also scaled back on public investment, public expenditure, resulting in an economy that seems to be lackluster, seems to be puttering along with no clear policy direction.
And of course, for those of you who are watching at home, certainly we also have an interactive that Straits Times has just come up with to kind of give a show of how PH has fared so far as well. But you know, Ai-Lin, surely it can't be all that bad, right?
A recent survey by an independent pollster, Merdeka Center, has put approval ratings for the Prime Minister at 46%. And for his team at 39%. These are quite low ratings as they stand, and they have actually plunged considerably since last August. Having said that, the Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad himself has rated his own cabinet ministers and given them 5 out of 10 marks.
Oh, just passed.
Just passed. Again, must try harder, can do better. So the good news about that is they are aware of their shortcomings. They are not hiding somewhere and saying, "Oh, we're doing a wonderful job." And to be fair, this is the first time that Malaysia has seen a change in government. So don't forget, the MPs that are in government now, or the parties that are in government now, most of them have spent the last 60 years criticizing the government. But this is their first time at governing. So, you know, as the colloquial term in Malay is cakap tak serupa bikin, meaning actions speak louder than words. Of course, there are also some bright spots. I mean, Pakatan has achieved some things. First of all, they have cracked down on corruption. They have recovered funds embezzled from 1MDB. You see that in the headlines every day. They have also supported this freedom of speech environment, and freedom of assembly, which actually allows people to criticize them. They've put bright, talented people in important posts, regardless of race. So these are some plus
for
points.
The government there. So what's in store, you know, Ai-Lin, for the next 4 years before the next election? So there is a talk, right, that PM Mahathir Mohamad is going to be handing power to the PM incoming Anwar Ibrahim. Is that going to happen?
Right. So as of last night and today,
Yeah.
yes, that is going to happen. Last night, PM Mahathir said 2 years, definite. I will hand over to him and he's free to do whatever he wants. He does not have to follow my footsteps or do whatever it is I used to do. I think this morning he said maximum pun 3 years lah, you know. So it's a shifting line, but it's quite clear he's going to take over. But I think what we need to watch is not so much whether he takes over. We need to watch whether there's going to be policy disruption when he takes over, or it's going to be a smooth handover. People don't want the government going in one direction for 2 years, 3 years, and then switching direction midway through. Having said that, it's early days yet. It's only been 1 year for the Pakatan Harapan government. Institutional reform, legal reforms take a lot longer than that. It's not a 1 year job. But people are sick and tired of hearing about 1MDB and why 1MDB is the source of all the country's problems. They don't care anymore. They want to know what Pakatan is going to achieve. So in the next 4 years, they will have to get cracking. Otherwise, they stand the risk of being just a one-term government.
One-term government, right.
But in the meantime, we should mark the 1 year anniversary anyway. So I have brought you a cupcake to mark the occasion.
To mark the occasion, all
There
right.
you go.
There we
For
go.
buka puasa.
For buka puasa, that's right. 1 year anniversary of Pakatan Harapan in power for Malaysia. Now, of course, for more news and updates with regard to the situation in Malaysia, do follow our website at www.straitstimes.com. Thank you so much, Eileen, for being here and to really, share insights onto how Malaysia has come, since its watershed election last year. Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you.
Now, moving on to our second segment, medical records, bank account details, email passwords, Netflix login, and even fake Singapore passports. These are things you can buy from the dark web at a cost, of course. Now, I have with me Kelvin Yang to tell us more about this black market. Welcome, Kelvin.
Thank you.
So, Kelvin, first of all, tell us, what is the browser like? Because I know that you have gone onto the dark web to kind of snoop around and look around. Is the browser like how, we see it to be in our normal, Lazada browser or Q10?
So basically, the dark web works in a way that's similar to your regular web. So your e-commerce site, for example, Carousel, for example, Lazada, for example, Q10, it works in the same way. So you can actually filter your searches by the price, the items that you want. Even buyers can leave feedback on the sellers. And, for example, if this seller is not as good as the other one, maybe you can give a negative rating. So it works in a way that's, the sellers that are more reputable, they are more trusted on the dark web, so they can actually get more customers to sell their wares, for example, drugs, weapons, and stuff.
And stuff like that. And I understand that, Kelvin, you were also in touch with a seller on the dark web who peddles all sorts of forged documents. How was the person like? How was the interaction like? Was it... was it via email or tell us more about that?
It was actually on one of the popular sites that they sell weapons and drugs and forged documents. So I approached this buyer who recommended that this seller that he has approached before is quite trusted. So I spoke with the seller through email, and he was quite courteous. And it's a good way to actually offer a service, because you want people to feel comfortable with you. So he was courteous, he was very responsive, and it made me feel like I'm actually wanting to buy something from him. But what stuck with me was that he was very confident of his product, his fake passports, his IC documents, and he was willing to offer a refund or even a replacement if it doesn't work. So I think that stuck with me. I think it was like it was really a good service that he was providing to his buyers.
So customer service 10 out of 10.
Yep.
But you don't know anything about this seller, right? You don't know where this seller is based. Nothing at all, because that is the whole idea of the dark web, right? It's anonymous.
So the browser that we use, the IP addresses, they change every few minutes.
Yeah.
So one moment you could be in Malaysia, the other moment you could be in China.
Yeah.
So the browser actually helps you to mask your location, so you actually appear anonymous.
Right, right. But of course, on the buyer end, it's a lot more risky, because once you put in an address to ship these items, that's when you get tracked down.
So actually for Singapore, I think we have a system where the immigration will actually look at what products come in.
Yeah.
So actually when people buy the products, they could pay using Bitcoin, but the product may not arrive.
Okay. And Kelvin, I have to ask, why are these items highly sought after? And what is the market price? What is the principle behind the pricing? Like, is it demand? It can't be demand and supply, right?
It is demand and supply.
Demand and supply.
So, for example, if you look at email accounts, email passwords, so they are aplenty on the dark web. So people are selling it for less than $2. But if you look at bank account details, these are harder to get. So they are actually selling for at least $100.
Right.
And it depends on the money in your bank account. So if you have more money, the asking price will be higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, so not that I'm shopping, but I just have to ask, what is the range like usually, say for example, for the passports?
So for passports, for Singapore passports, it's a bit different. It's a premium item. So it's one of the world's most powerful passports. So people are actually selling it for 3,800 Singapore dollars.
Oh, wow.
And it's one of the more expensive ones. So if you look at passports from Malaysia and China, they are selling for only $3,000. Because for the Singapore passport, you can actually access 189 destinations. I think for some of the buyers, they actually use it to cross borders, to obtain work overseas. And these are illegal, but they actually use it for such purposes.
Right. And Kelvin, of course, having said that, the dark web is a scary place, right? And certainly we do not condone or support people to go on to the dark web. So how can one keep him or herself safe from getting their personal data compromised?
There are actually many ways. So one of it is for users to actually use different passwords for different accounts, but most people don't actually do that because of convenience.
I don't, for one. For convenience, exactly.
Yeah, but then again, there is only so much that users can do. Ultimately, it depends on the organizations that manage our data. So at the end of the day, it's not really up to users. So it's really the organizations that manage our data that has the right to protect. So that's the reality, and that's the sad reality of things that for users we can only do so much.
Yeah, that's right. Again, Kelvin, thank you for being with us today to share more on the dark web. Again, we need to stress that we do not condone shopping on the dark web. Really, this was for a story that Kelvin was working on. But if you want to read more on Kelvin's story, do head on to www.straitstimes.com. Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you. Now, moving on to our third segment. The fasting month is currently underway and it is in fourth day today. Now, with every fasting month, there is also the famous Geylang Serai Bazaar that boasts the different food offerings. So what are this year's interesting eats at the Hari Raya Bazaar? Now with me in the studio to whet our appetites is ST Food online editor Hedy Koo. Welcome, Hedy.
Thank you.
So Hedy, question is, you were at the bazaar on Tuesday.
Yes.
Tell us, how's the bazaar this year? What are the offerings that we can get?
It's quite a spread of food that they have at the bazaar, and there's a lot of buzz if you go at the peak hours, like from 6 onwards. You really feel the atmosphere is charged. I went for the mutton biryani. I tried buying it at like 5:50 p.m. And I was told by the seller that I was lucky to even get a packet, and I didn't have a choice. It was either I take the kambing biryani or I have nothing.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, and that were
kambing is the mutton biryani, right?
Yes, because their chicken biryani had already been sold out.
Right.
And I said, so what's the best time to come? Then he said 3:30. when the shop opens. Because since they open on Friday, they have been like sold out by 6 or even before, like both their chicken and mutton, and it's cooked dum biryani style. So the mutton and the rice are cooked together in the same very gigantic pot, because each pot yields about 300 packets.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I liked it, and I had to stop myself from finishing it all because.
And it's $4, right? You said
it was just $4. And it comes with a side of a dal and a potato. That is very tender as well.
And so, Hedi, if let's say we don't want to go for the heavy biryani can be heavy, right?
Yes, that's right.
What are the things that we can look out for at the bazaar?
Okay, I also like the chicken on skewers, chicken on a stick. Like they had chicken gizzard, chicken liver, which is, well, maybe not everyone's taste, but you know, for most people, deep fried food's really hard to resist, and well, it's a bazaar, so this is really fair kind of food. And you can also get like boneless chicken pieces, also chicken skin, and about $3 a packet. And then there's also this thing called like the deep fried mini crabs. Those were really quite lovely. But there are a lot of other foods as well. There are also like hipster foods, like the Abang Handsome Burger, which comes with a rainbow bun. It's $10, a little bit pricey for some people, and I was skeptical at first when I bought it, but it turned out to be pretty alright. I think it's good to go with friends. So that
you can share.
Yeah, that's right. And if you don't like what you're eating, you can make your friends eat them.
Yeah, that's true. And I know that there is a new offering as well. You mentioned the baby Bosco. What's that?
Yeah, it's a milk tea drink. I found that there are a lot of bubble teas and milk tea, but this one stood out, and I think the young people really went for it because it comes in a milk bottle shaped container, which it's reusable, and you can take it home. It's a little bit pricey again, $6 a bottle. They have flavors like butterscotch, salted caramel, but if you bring the bottle back and ask for a refill, it's $3.50 for a refill.
So you save $2.50.
Yeah,
that's quite a bit, huh?
Yes, quite a bit. The only thing is, in terms of flavor, I don't know why they bother to differentiate it, because they tasted almost the same to me. It's all like sweet milk tea. Maybe the fans will like, hurl stones at me, but that's my honest opinion.
And Hedi, I just have to ask this because every year there is always the whole space, and it's very uncomfortable for people to just maneuver around. But this year it seems that it's a bit more spacious, and there's seating area as well.
Yes.
More on that.
Yeah, correct.
Perhaps,
the seating area is really quite beautifully set up, and I think if you go at the right time, and that's why it's important to go with a friend, because if you're alone, it's easy, to ask to share. But if you have someone, the person can help you look after your food while you go and hunt and gather all the things from the stalls. But overall, I think the atmosphere is really nice, and I didn't have. Maybe I didn't go during the weekend, so that helped, and it's still early on in the bazaar. But it can be a bit crowded at certain stalls. So, but I noticed that most people buy their food first, and then they wait. So in terms of the atmosphere, I liked it. I didn't find it overly crowded. I'm not sure how it'll be on the weekends. I think with all bazaars, you have to expect some crowd, and I think that's part of the fun.
Exactly.
But there's ample seating.
And it's nice, right, that they do have this seating, so fun. That when you get your food, like what you mentioned, you get your food, you sit down and you catch up with your friends, because there's the whole idea of having the bazaar as well. It's very similar to the other kind of bazaars that have been ongoing as well, the art box and all that.
I think the bazaar this year, it's a little bit different, as in like the more traditional feel, of what the bazaar has always been. It's across the road, but on the Wisma Geylang Serai side, it's really quite. It's more spacious, partly because of the physical layout. But I think it's good to walk around the whole place and really get a feel of the different atmosphere at different areas, the different zones.
And there you have it. You heard it from Hedi herself. The ambience, the food is good. So definitely you would recommend people to head down to check it out.
I mean, if not for the food, at least for the ambience, and it's a great activity for the family and friends, to meet up, go and have some fun.
Certainly. All right, now of course, to read more on the offerings that the bazaar has, I know that you have a story coming out this Sunday as well.
That's right. Well, I'll be picking out a few things that you could probably try at the bazaar.
All right, so do check out Hedi's piece that's coming out this Sunday on our Sunday papers, and of course, you can head over to straitstimes.com straitstimes.com for all the other stories as well. Thank you, Hedi, for being here with us. There you have it, our top stories for the day. And certainly for more news and videos, do head over to our website, that www.straitstimes.com. And once again, I'm Haryanto. Same time tomorrow for more stories on The Big Story.